Hello. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Module 2. Go ahead and get signed in, and if you get a chance, go ahead and get over to the chat and say hello if you can. Let me know you're in the house. Hello. Hello, hello, and welcome. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. Let me know that you can see it. Okay, can everyone see the screen? Go ahead and go to the chat and let me know. All right, you can see it. All right. All right, looks like we're all set up and everyone can see my screen. Welcome to Module 2. Hopefully you have already had a chance to check out Module 1. So we are now moving to the next part, which is registering your business. I, of course, am your professor, Tamara Garrison-Thomas, your professor and your owner of Main Elements. So welcome today to our live module. At the end, I will give you an opportunity to ask questions, so make sure you take your notes. We're going to kind of go through everything that was promised for this module and make sure that you are off to a great start for your hair extension business. So here is our agenda. Number one, we're going to start with what should I call my hair extension business? Then the next thing we're going to talk about is choosing a domain name. Then we're going to talk about how to set up legally. And then we're going to go into tax registration. And then going into choosing a logo and designer. And I'm actually going to talk about the legal and tax registration portion all together. Okay? All right, so let's jump right into it. What's in a name, right? This is one of the most important parts of starting our business, or what we start to think of is what's going to be my name. And so naming your business is one of the most important parts. It is something that, of course, you want to make sure that you really love, because you're going to be saying this hopefully for the next hundreds of years, right? You want this to be something that stays in history. So there is everything that goes into name. But here are some tips that you need to keep in mind when it comes to naming your business and making sure that you do these things, and also run it by some people so that we can see if this would be a great name for your business. So number one is to avoid words that are hard to pronounce or remember. One example I always give is like my first name. My first name is Tamara, but a lot of people like to pronounce it Tamara or Tamara or something. They mispronounce it all the time. So I would never really name a business after my first name only like that, unless I was specifically going to write it phonetically so people could say it correctly, because they'd always say it wrong. So, that may be something that you want to think about when it comes to your name. Now, of course, we do have, some businesses and luxury companies who have names that are hard for us to pronounce, or we don't know exactly how to say them because of the language, or because that's just how the brand is. And if you are into making sure your customer knows your name and that's going to be something a part of your brand personality, then by all means do it. But if it's something that you're not interested in trying to teach people all the time what your name is, then you do want to avoid those words that are hard to pronounce or to even remember, because when they want to go buy hair, they're going to always have to remember, who was that one that I bought from that one time? So you want it to be something that they can remember. So think about that when it comes to your business name. Another thing to remember is to keep your business name simple yet unique, okay? You want to make sure that there aren't a lot of words in it. I've worked with a lot of people who try to put in and fit in all these lovely words that they just want to be the part of the definition of their business. But you have to keep in mind, again, making sure your customer remembers you, and then the domain name, okay? If it's too long, you can't get the domain name. So you want to make sure that, or it won't be something people can remember. Okay, so you want to make sure that it's real simple and something straight to the chase, and something that people can remember. Avoid weird spellings. Now, another example that I always use is that when I first started, there was someone that wanted to start to name her business simply Hair Business, but she was going to spell business B-U-S-S-I-N-E-S-S. So she was going to have like the double S's in there, like that was cute and cool for business. But it just looked like she couldn't spell business. You know, if you just looked at it, it just looks like you can't spell business, and you thought that this was cute. And it's not. And I had to tell her that's not cute. You can't do that because people will think you can't spell. So we had to fix that, of course, for her, and let her know that. Now, if she had done B-I-Z-N-E-S-S or something, or B-I-Z-N-E-S, you know, we can tell that that's what that means, business, okay? Or like with my main elements. Main is spelled like the hair, M-A-N-E, and elements has the Z at the end. So it still goes straight to the point with some, you know, different spellings in there. But you want it to be something, again, that people can remember or understand, okay? You don't want it to look like you didn't know how to spell, all right? So try to avoid that as much as you can. Also, be sure no one else is using it. This is a really important one, which means you can't get attached to a business name. If you have just one name that you keep saying that's going to be your business name, you know, you really want to stop that and not get attached to come up with a few different options, because you're going to have to research to see if it's been taken, or, you know, if it's trademarked. So this is how you are going to do it. I'm going to show you in a moment how to check for that. I have had entrepreneurs that come to me, they had this name, they had all this information for it, they were ready to go, they had their logo in their head and stuff, and then we found out that it was trademarked and it could not be used, because then you can get sued for using someone's name that's trademarked. So she had to go back to the drawing board, but it was really hard for her to do so because she was so attached to the name. So you can't get too attached, especially if it's something that's kind of common. You know, you really can't get too attached to that. So make sure you have some different options, and then we got to make sure no one is using it, which I'm going to get to in just a moment. And then you want to make sure the domain name is available. So if you have a name, this is another reason why you don't want to get attached, okay? Because if the domain name is not available, you may have to come up with some other options or come up with another name, because the customer won't find you, and you can't have two different names and things going on, okay? So think about that and remember that when it comes to a name. Now, because you are a student here at Hairprener Academy and a soon-to-be named boss, you have Team Me to help you with your name. When you come up with something and you're still trying to question if this is going to be a good name, or is it something that people will connect to, you can always email support@mainelements.com, send your name, and we'll let you know if this sounds like something that would work. Of course, that would be your duty to do the research, okay? It's not on us to do the research for you. You're the entrepreneur, but you do need to do the research and make sure no one is using it, which, like I said, I'm going to show you in just a moment. You can also, so you not only do you have Team Me, but you have your other peers to ask. We have our Facebook community where you can go and put your name in and see if it would be dope. But people really like this name. You guys think that people would connect to it or feel like, you know, they'd like this name? And get a poll. Some people may say yes, some people may say no, or they may say keep working, keep going at it. and they definitely will for you. So you can also put that name out there in the Facebook community. If this is something you really are ready to do, like we talked about in Module 1, then you will take the steps that you need to get everything set up like it needs to be. So now let's make sure that your name is legal, okay? So I'm going to switch out of this here. Can you still see my screen? Please mention yes or no in the chat. Okay, so you should see that I'm at the USPTO page here, okay? So I went to uspto.gov, okay? This is the Patent and Trademark Office where you can see if a name has been taken or not, okay? And so what you want to do specifically, I'm trying to do this, what you want to do specifically is that you're going to come over here to trademarks and go where it says searching trademarks, okay? And you come down here and you want to do a trademark electronic search system or search trademarks. And this is where you're going to be able to do so. So you can do basic word search because you get trademarks for the word, you can get trademarks for your logo. They're all separate trademarks, but you can get them done for everything. And then this is where you would search the term. So say we're looking for hair business. Maybe we're looking for hair bussiness. Let's do that. So it looks like no one has that one, so I would be able to use it if I wanted to. So far, because it looks like no one has it. Hair business. Ooh, it looks like some people have this here, but they have the word business in here, so it's kind of just giving you the ones that have the hair in it and a business, but not necessarily hair business. Okay, so put in your name here and see if it's something that has been, if it's being trademarked or not, and that will save you from being sued. Another way to keep yourself out of trouble also is because it's to Google. Because even if someone has the name and it's not trademarked, it's still copywritten by them because they're using it, and they can still say something to you, okay? Just 1 second. Okay, so another thing, yeah, is to Google it. So say we want to Google hair business. Okay, so you get all these different things, but you don't have that there's a business name that, okay? So make sure that you do all those checks when it comes to setting up your business, okay? So Google it and go to uspto.gov, all right? The next thing I said was to make sure the domain name is available. So you're going to come here to GoDaddy. Can you still see my screen? Please let me know. Let me know if you can see my GoDaddy screen here. Okay, so here is where you want to kind of look up. So maybe hair bussiness, search domain. Looks like it's available. So if it is available and you want it, this should be about the cost that it would be, $11.99. And you want to get your domain name from GoDaddy, okay? Now let me just remind you that just because you have a domain name does not mean you have a website. This is kind of the address of where your website will be, but it's not attached to a website yet. This is why once you come up with your name, you do want to secure the domain name. You want to make sure you get it right away so nobody else buys it, okay? So if I wanted to buy this, I would add it to the cart. Okay, then I'll go to my cart and get ready to purchase. I don't add any of these things usually because they're just trying to upsell you, and your website will be enough protection for you. So I want to continue with these options. No thanks, no thanks. Now what's going to happen is they're going to give me a total of $72.85 when I thought it was $11.99. Because what they do is that they're going to rack on a few years here. So they're giving you 5 years for this so that you would keep it. But all you need to do is come to this and put in 1 year, and it brings it back down to $11.99. And then you can get, you have your taxes. So it'll only be $12.17. All right. And then of course that depends on how much your domain name is, but that is something that you would want to do. So make sure you don't get these 5 years, just do the 1 year. You can renew it every year. And they will make sure they'll check with you before they get rid of it or anything. But for right now, you only need that 1 year. Okay. All right, so that is securing your logo, your domain name with GoDaddy. Here are some overused names that I would suggest you stay away from if you can, just because they have been used a lot. So there's Bella, Luxury, Glam, Couture, Paparazzi, Luxe, any kind of like Royal or Crown or anything like that. Names with those words in them are very overused. So you may find someone that's using something similar or using, you'll see a lot of people with these names. Stay away from it, okay? That also is another reason why you want to Google the name, because when you Google the name and you see someone with the same name, but maybe they're not doing too much, or you see that a lot of people are using the name, you don't want to use that name, because that means they'll confuse your company with someone else's company, okay? So make sure you get something that's unique and you change it up a little bit. Maybe you can't get to attach to the name, so you switch out the words and things and go with something else. It's just a part of the business, about a part of the process, but let's just make it happen and don't get too attached until you found something that will stick. All right. All right, so next, why you need a domain name, which I was just telling you, this is the address for your website. So you need to own it. A lot of times what's going to happen is if you work with designers or you're going to work with certain platforms, they may try to sell you a domain name, but that means that they have ownership of it. And so if something happens, say you worked with a designer and they got you your domain name and it doesn't work out with the designer, they would still own your domain name. And you can't take that with you wherever you want or apply it to any website you want. So you want to have full ownership of your domain name, which you can do at GoDaddy.com. You'll have your own area with your domain names. You want to use GoDaddy.com because it does sync with a lot of website platforms, and website designers know how to use it and add your website to GoDaddy. So you want to make sure you use that. Only buy for 1 year, like I said, no upsells. And I showed you the process. So make sure you keep that in mind. You also want to start thinking about an email address for your business, a professional one. I know a lot of times we'll start maybe with a Google one, it'll just be like hairbusiness@gmail.com. But you do want to get a professional one, which may say support@hairbusiness.com or hello@hairbusiness.com, whatever your business name is. And maybe just get one of those so that you have a professional email address to use when it comes to launching your business or doing business work. So keep that in mind. You can get one. I wouldn't get it from GoDaddy because the processor that you have to use for that, I think it's like Outlook or something like that, and not everyone has Outlook or is familiar with Outlook or has direct access to Outlook. Now, if you do, then go with it. But you can do one through Google, get a business address, and all you have to do is log in through Google with that address. So it's real simple. You can log in anytime you need to with this because it's through Google, and you just sign up with your email address. So you go to G Suite by Google. You can Google that and go over there. It's only $5 to get a name. So each name would be $5 if you choose to get more than one. But just get one. It's $5 a month to do that. And you can have your own email address that is more professional. So you can use that for your business and for your website and stuff like that. Okay. So check that out and see if that's something that you can get started. It's not something that you have to do today or soon, but maybe, of course, definitely before your launch. Okay, how to set up legally. This is very important. Why you need to set up legally and why you need to be registered. Because in America, we have to pay taxes. And so if you are running a business and getting paid, then you do have to pay the government for whatever people are paying you. Okay, so you need to make sure that you are set up legally so you're not operating illegally and get caught, and then that can be even more problems for you. So make sure you get your business registered when you can. You can do this several ways. You can do it as a sole. I'm just going to tell you about the two here. The sole proprietor or an LLC. A sole proprietor is free and can be set up. I'm going to again show you how to do that here. Can you still see my screen? Let me know. Guys, go ahead and get in the chat and let me know if you can see the screen now. I changed it up. I'm not sure if someone said anything or replied. Can you see it, guys? Just let me know. Okay, good. All right. Perfect. Okay, so here we're at irs.gov. irs.gov and GOV again is where you can register for a sole proprietorship for free. You do need to do this during business hours, so make sure that when you are, in between whatever you do at work or sometime in the morning, make sure you do that during that time. Okay. So what you would do here is you would go here and where it says prepare tax, no, you want EIN. So you want to apply for an employer identification number online. And so like right now it's closed, but this is where you would get started and apply online now. And it'll take you through the process. I'll need some information from you, but then it's done and you'll get an EIN, you'll be a sole proprietor and ready to go, okay? So that's one way to do it, which is free. They also allow you to do the LLC and the corporations and some of the other options on here. But it is going to cost you, and it can sometimes cost you more than what it would cost in your state. You just have to check. But my recommendation for you, if you are doing an LLC, is to check with your state, like your Secretary of State or the Commission's office, and see how much it costs for you to file an LLC in your state. For example, in Arizona, it's $50 to file for LLC. But when I would go to like a LegalZoom or something like that, it was like $450. Like it was crazy. So it's better for me to just do it on my own through the state than to trust them to do something when it's just the paperwork that they're charging me for. So you want to check that out. The difference between the sole proprietorship and the LLC is pretty much more protection. The LLC means limited liability corporation, which means if someone chose to sue me or something or sue my business, whatever's in the business, if I have an LLC, whatever's in the business would be affected. Like they wouldn't and of course this is all law stuff. People can always get around everything, but my personal stuff wouldn't necessarily be affected. A sole proprietor is something, everything that you own would be affected by that if someone chose to sue you. Now, I've never heard of anyone getting sued in the first year or two of their business, of their hair extension business necessarily. So you still have some time to be a sole proprietor before anything would happen like that. But you can be a sole proprietor and move over to an LLC eventually. I did it. I started as a sole proprietor and had a sole proprietorship from another business. And then I was able to move it over to Main Elements as an LLC. So it's something you definitely can do, but I come from the school of Shark Tank, if anyone's ever watched that. They always tell you to start small, okay? See if this works for you, and then start putting money back into your business. start making some money, and then start putting it back in your business. So I would start with the sole proprietor. It's free for me. I'm still legal. And I still have everything that I need. You still have copyright protection from everything you're creating. And then as I grow, I'll start putting the money in to do my LLC. Okay? But that's definitely up to you and how you want to run your business. A business license is something that you would need separately, depending on your state. Again, more usually like a retail license that you have to sell. That gives you permission to sell something. So you're legal, and that means, because there's accountants, there's, people that have, that do work for other people and are independent contractors that can be a sole proprietor. And then there's people that sell things, and you may need a retail license for that, which is the business license. So again, you have to check with your state, Secretary of State or the Commission's office, and see if you also need a business license and what that would be for you. You also need to make sure you specify that your business is mostly online and that's how you're selling, because they may have a different law for that. But again, it's kind of checking with your state to see what they mandate. Okay. I just shared with you why you shouldn't use LegalZoom, because they're going to charge you for filing paperwork, which is ridiculous. So just try to go look up that paperwork yourself and get it done. A trademark is not necessary right now either, because the trademarks can cost like $400 plus to trademark your name. So again, that was something that you would do later on in your business as you grow, but you still have copyright protection. So before I was trademarked, there were people that tried to use my wording, my name, my stuff. They tried to do that, as I was growing. But I had the copyright protection and, just the proof that I launched that first. You don't have the dates on when my website was published or when I came up with things. I still had rights over my name. They can't use it, and they can get in trouble if they continue to use it. So you're still protected. But a trademark is something that you could eventually work towards in your business again as you grow. Okay. And then you do need to pay taxes. So some companies, as you grow, can pay taxes quarterly, or you can pay them when you file around tax time. So you can decide what's going to be best for your business. What they usually do when it's quarterly is that they kind of go off of how much they think you're going to make, or how much you think you're going to make that year. And then they break it down, and you pay the taxes that way quarterly. So it's not one lump sum when it comes tax time. You want to get a good accountant when it comes to tax time, because there's a lot of write-offs and things that you have as a business owner. Okay, I'm not an accountant, so I'm not trying to give you specific advice, but there are a lot of things that you can write off, especially with your business phone or your computer for business, if you have an office and rent and mortgage and stuff like that. I know a lot of that can be written off, and training. So your Hairprener Academy expenses or anything like that can all be written off because it's going towards you being an entrepreneur. So just make sure you have a good accountant who can record that for you in your taxes. Okay. Okay, so Latifah says she has an EIN for a different hair business, but she didn't like the name. You'll have to check with the IRS on that when they open, and see if you can change the name. I do believe that there is a fee to change the name. If you need to change anything in your name when you file, I believe there's a fee for that. Or you just file a new one, start a new one. Okay? All right, so now choosing a logo and how to pick colors, okay? So the logo will be something that you want to start thinking about as well. One thing about a logo is that a logo doesn't sell for you, okay? That's one thing I want you to keep in mind. Yes, you want a nice logo, or you want it to be something that has your business name in it, but it doesn't sell for you. So I don't want you to sit here and mull over the logo and spend too much time on it where you are not getting to the meat of your business, of setting up your business. but you do want to think about what you want, okay? So here are some of the colors that you have, some choices. I just gave you some colors and some research behind some of these colors. So red kind of means impulsive, living fully, fun, happy. Blue, peaceful. Green, steadfast, dependable, like money, friendly, secure, right? Prosperous. Orange means friendly, fun, laughter, and green means more social, expert, approval. Okay, so these are some of the words behind some of these colors. So as you're trying to choose colors for your business, maybe you want to keep some of this in mind, in regards to what your brand is going to be like. Who are you trying to attract, and what is your brand like, and what do you want people to think of when they see you and see your company, see your brand, see your logo? Okay, so think about that in regards to your colors. Here are some other stats in regards to colors. So some of women's favorite colors are like purple is 27%, and this blue-green was 29%. And then there's like 7%. Okay, I'll get right to that. 27%, 29%, 27% for purple, 29% for blue, 7% for pink. So it's not really that high, guys. Even though you see a lot of this pink everywhere, it's not the highest number for the highest number of favorite colors for women. 9% red, 3% yellow or orange or something, 6% yellow, and then 19% green. And then, of course, you see the numbers for men, and 42% went the blue. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're coming up with your colors, and I would try to stick out. We do see a lot of pink in this industry, and it just seems like there's just this huge wave of it. So what other colors can you use that would help you to stick out and not look like everybody else? Hint, hint. Don't look like everybody else, okay? Choose something else that's gonna make you stand out. All right, these are just some general colors. Of course, I know there's a lot more you can choose from, but just think about that. Also, I know that we're looking at 29% for the blue, but like the royal blue and gold and stuff, that's also another one that I see all the time that's not allowing you to stick out at all. So just try to think of some cool color combinations that you can try to put together so that your brand, because that's going to be a part of, how you market things. You want to keep your colors coordinated. So think of some good colors that can go together for your logo and for your brand. Okay, and so this was the least favorite color. So it looks like the women's was orange, and then men were purple and orange, or brown too. Okay, so that's just some research for you to see. All right, so then what you're going to do is you're going to choose a designer, and then you need to have an idea of what you want. Okay, so the reason why I want to put this in here is because what I see a lot is that people are kind of like, oh, I want this logo. Let me tell this designer, I want this logo and I want these colors. Boom, go do what you need to do. Thinking, it's like you think that the designer can read your mind and what you want. And so then when you get the logo, it's like, no, this is not what I wanted at all. I wanted this and I wanted that, I wanted that. If you had given me what you wanted up front, then you could have had something at least closer to what you want. Designers don't read your mind, but they can put together something that you're thinking of. So you want to make sure that you have an idea of what you want, unless you're open to the designer designing. That's what design means. If you want the designer to be the designer and kind of, create something from what they see in your name or some descriptive words you give, then, whatever they send you, you'll work with. But if you have something in mind or a brand in mind that you were thinking of, that you wanted to kind of go by, then you need to make sure you share that information with the designer you choose to work with. Okay, so have an idea of what you want. Look for inspiration. It's okay to have an inspiration, have a company that you like, and you want something like, but of course your name and your colors and the design does have to be different because of copyright and the law. Okay, use descriptive words to describe to the designer what you need. Like I want soft, cursive, straight logo or a specific kind of text. I want it to be feminine. I want it to be masculine. I want these letters to be like this and this letter's over here. I want a picture of a lady that's doing this, okay? So those different things would be helpful as well when it comes to working with your designer. And it's, like I said, is that a logo is important, but it's nothing to dwell on because it's not going to sell for you. I don't look at logos and say, you know what? I love that logo. Let me buy that. No, you don't do that either. We buy because someone said something that said we should get this, or someone had it and you wanted it. That's why you buy things. It's not because the logo looks cool. I mean, it may be a part of the product that the person's selling, but that's not why we just buy things. So you need to make sure that you keep that in mind and not, again, dwell on this. I've had people come to me and they've been sitting on a logo for like a year, and that is ridiculous. You're not going to do that here as a student for Hairprener Academy. We think of a design, think of a logo, think of what you want, or get some inspiration and get with the designer and let's get it done, okay? So you do have your choice of designers. It will be in the library. There is the business directory in the library. You can look through the books there, look through all the options, and go to the business directory. There are choices for designer. The logos that you are looking at are done by yours truly. Main Elements made these logos for our clients. So if there's anything you like here, you definitely can work with Main Elements. We will probably be your less expensive option when it comes to a logo in the business directory, where we start logos at $35, and then it goes up from there, but it does start at $35. So you can see that in the business directory. You would contact support and let them know what you're thinking, and we get it to our designer to get it done for you. Okay, so think about that, and again, let that start thinking of what you want to do in regards to your logo, and getting that created and applying that, because you'll be able to kind of see your business coming to life. All right. Okay, so my point in that is that logos change all the time. So even if you start with something now, okay, and it's something more that you can afford, or something you do on your own, or you do get something a little less expensive, then they do change. So if we look at Coca-Cola, this is their logo in 1886, which was just the words. And it has changed over time. They've added this color. I mean, color has been added to since that time, but now we have these different colors and they have different words and we have different, so logos can change over time as you grow as a brand. Change can happen. Development, business development happens. So that's okay. And that's something that's great. That's good for you. That means there's growth. So don't think that you have to be stuck with a logo for the life of your business. You can update it as you grow. So keep that in mind, okay? All right, so what you're gonna do now, we're towards the end of module 2, and these are your action items. Finalize your name. Again, you can email us at support@mainelements.com for input, or go to our Facebook community and ask them for their opinion. You want to register your business legally. Look at the business directory in the library and inquire with logo designers and see. I did just work with someone recently who said they got a quote for a logo for $200, and I almost threw the computer and threw everything around me. No, absolutely not. Do not pay maybe over $100, if that, and that would be a stretch. I would never pay $100. I wouldn't pay $50 for a logo. I would pay $50 for a logo, but I wouldn't pay $100 for a logo. Okay, $75, $100 maybe for a logo. Mine was definitely not that much. I think mine was like $15, okay, to get it done, the original Main Elements logo. So you again want to make sure that you are thinking smart about this. You're spending your money where you need to. and the logo is not the place. Do not spend all this money dwelling on it and spending a lot of money on it. Like I said, the most would be about $100 for your logo, okay? So keep that in mind, inquire with those logo designers, and then get your logo done and start thinking about that as we move to module 3. So I see we have some questions. So she said, since you explained everything, I am thinking I should have waited and not rushed. Yes, that's okay, but if you said you filed for an EIN with a different business name, you can go see if you can try to do another one, but they will have your name and your social security number on file, so you may have to do a name change. So just inquire with IRS. Don't sit on it. Tomorrow morning, just go to irs.gov and see if you can chat with someone and let them know the situation and see what the answer is so you can get some clarity on that, and then move on, okay? Katisha, you have a question. What is it? And anyone who has a question, go ahead and send that right over through the chat. Okay, we're waiting for Katisha to get her question out here. I filed with the state and domain and also EIN. I did use Lux, okay? So you've already done that. What's your question? Ooh. I was just sharing some of them that are used a lot. But if you've already used it or the name was already approved, and you did all of your searches and everything, you can move forward. Yes. Oh, the drop ship, that's if you're a Main Boss Plus. So I'll go over that in just a minute. Okay, any other questions about what we talked about today in Module 2? Setting up your name, filing and registering, and thinking of your logo. Okay. All right, I'll make sure that you stay connected and join us over at our Facebook site. Again, you can contact support. That's going to be Jasmine, Andrea, or Eddie, support@mainelements.com. And of course, you can contact me. But if it is a support issue, I will transfer you over to support. Okay, so make sure that you understand that. So I want to thank you again for joining me here. And make sure you go on over to Module 3 and get started with Module 3. Thank you.